Classical Music Readers, Level 3. The Works of Johannes Brahms. Copyright 2023 Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Who was Johannes Brahms? Johannes Brahms was born in Hamburg, Germany, in 1833. He was a famous German composer and virtuoso pianist. His father, Johann Jakob Brahms, was a professional musician who played in the Hamburg City Orchestra. Hoping to pass on his love of music, Johann Jakob gave his son his first music lessons and supported his music education. By the age of 10, Brahms was playing the violin, cello, and piano. At 15, he was performing in concerts. He also started to compose music. Brahms went on tour with the Hungarian violinist Ede Remenyi, where they met Joseph Joachim, a violinist and composer. Joachim introduced Brahms to the composer Robert Schumann and his wife Clara in Dusseldorf. Schumann liked Brahms and could see that he was going to be great, so he wrote an article about him in his music journal. The article was titled Neue Bahnen, New Paths. Interestingly, the article did not make Brahms feel good. He worried that he was not as good as Schumann claimed. Brahms was always very self-critical. However, Schumann was proved correct. Brahms did become a well-known composer and found new paths of composing. During his career, Brahms wrote a lot of vocal music. There were many works for choirs and a large collection of vocal songs with piano. He also wrote a lot of piano music. His chamber music includes groups of strings and also groups of pianos. He wrote 4 symphonies and 4 concertos. Brahms remained a very close friend of Schumann. When Schumann suffered from mental health issues, Brahms went all the way to Dusseldorf to see him. Brahms soon fell in love with Clara Schumann, who was 14 years older than himself. The young man continued to be in love with Clara after Schumann's death, and they had a close relationship. Clara saw Brahms as more of a son and friend, though. He never married. In 1859, Brahms found work as the conductor of a women's choir in Hamburg. This job left him plenty of time to write and arrange music. But Vienna was the center of classical music in Europe at the time. In 1862, Brahms moved to Vienna, where he soon made many friends who liked his work. Brahms composed many of his greatest works in Vienna. Brahms thought that people expected him to be the next Beethoven, and spent about 20 years on his first symphony. He finally allowed it to be performed in 1876. He worried that it was too long and difficult. In fact, the symphony was a success, although Brahms was disappointed that critics in Vienna compared it to Beethoven's work. Piano Concerto No. 1, Opus 15, 1858. Brahms's first piano concerto is the work that really put his name among the top composers, not only in his time, but also in history. But he did not have an easy time of it at the start. Brahms premiered Piano Concerto No. 1 himself in Hanover in 1859. The audience did not like it. 5 days later, he tried again in Leipzig, but the boos were louder than the applause. Critics wrote bad reviews of it. But the third performance in Hamburg was a success. Brahms revised the concerto a little and sent the music to Clara Schumann, his close friend and concert pianist. She wrote back that she had hours of joy from playing it. She said that the first movement gave her great pleasure, and the slow second movement was beautiful. Clara herself performed this concerto in 1861 in Hamburg with Brahms. She loved playing the concerto, but thought that the audience did not give Brahms or his work the respect they should have received. At that time, other concertos put the main focus on the soloist. Brahms was trying to balance the piano with the orchestra as equal partners. Not an easy task. The mixed responses to the piece made Brahms put it away for some years. Luckily for us, the work became popular over time, and it is now recognized as a great musical work. Wiegenlied, 1868. Wiegenlied, or as we know it today, lullaby, is the most famous piece ever written by Brahms, finding its way into popular culture everywhere. Perhaps it was even in one of your own childhood toys or music box. It might be familiar to you, but you were probably half asleep when you heard it. So what is a lullaby? A lullaby is a song used to quiet children, to help them fall asleep. This piece is a song, Lied in German, for voice and piano. Brahms dedicated it to his dear friend Bertha Faber on the birth of her baby boy. The words are from Des Knaben Wunderhorn, The Boy's Magic Horn, a collection of German folk poems. The summary of the lyrics is, "Good evening, good night, slip under the covers, and tomorrow morning you will wake once again." Close your eyes and listen to the singer and pianist. Do you feel sleepy yet? Symphony No. 3, Opus 90, 1883. As you listen to this symphony, you get the feeling that Brahms had finally become a truly excellent composer. He had clearly found his own voice. This is the shortest of his 4 symphonies. However, melodic strings and beautiful wind instruments make this symphony enjoyable from beginning to end. While some other composers had a reputation for being rude or overly dramatic, Brahms was quite sunny in a lot of his works. If you know musical notes, you will hear the motif that runs through this symphony. The notes F, A-flat, F occur often and relate to the composer's saying, frei aber froh, which translates as free but happy. Unlike with his piano concerto, the first performance of Brahms' Third Symphony went very well. It took place in Vienna, and the audience and the critics loved it. They thought his new symphony was bright and genius in its rhythms. Although he may have had doubts about his own talents, it is clear that Brahms was a great composer and musician.